Hi, everybody. John Ann's here again with Ashtonwood House Concerts, and we are once again very close to our next performance coming up on May 30th, Saturday, May 30th, here at the house, 7 p.m., and we'll be hosting and welcoming the wonderful Julia Danielle and Caelan Cardello for that performance. So, as usual, we want to get to know them a little bit better and share that with you. And so let's bring them in and have a little bit of a chat.
Hey John.
Hey
Hey,
guys, how are you?
good. How are you?
We're well. I am well, thanks. So thanks for joining us, and for doing this. I guess just up front, we'll say we are so looking forward to you guys coming north a bit in a few weeks. And we can't wait. But again, for those people who don't know you as well as they should, although I don't suspect that's going to last very long, we thought we would chat. So Julia and Kaylin, and you can take turns at your own discretion. Tell us a little bit about yourselves, where you're from, how you got into this incredible music, and how we got to this conversation today.
Well, I'm from the suburbs of Chicago. I grew up near Evanston area. I went to New Trier High School, um, and I started to kind of immerse myself into like learning standards, and I had some teachers throw some my way and kind of put me in the try different things, and that was kind of when I really started to fall in love with this music, and I didn't really even know what I was learning at the time. So I just wanted to learn more and more and more. Um, and I started a little jazz band in high school, like my
Oh, very
senior
cool.
year. And we, played around in the suburbs, and um, I decided to apply for a jazz degree, and I got in at DePaul University, which is in Chicago. And I spent my 4 years there. And yeah, I was just living in Chicago, learning more about this music and playing out in the city and networking, meeting people. And I took a year off after I graduated. I was freelancing, I was teaching, playing more gigs, just doing the thing people be they do.
So
And
was music for you like in the house growing up, or is this like all your own direction that you pursued this?
so I grew up playing violin. So my family we're big classical fans, and
Okay.
I grew up in the orchestra. Um, and I can probably still play, but I played up until like my high school senior year into some college a little bit. Um, and yeah, so I was always doing different kinds of genres like musical theater and yeah, all the things like trying to explore every side of music. I just like was always singing growing up, like as a kid, everywhere in the house. My parents just put me into different things like choir and orchestra, and here we are now.
Yeah,
I guess it
nice.
worked.
Great. Caleb.
Um, we have some similarities. I didn't play violin. I played cello
Ooh.
first when I was like 4 years old, and that lasted maybe 3 months because according to my dad, um, it started to really hurt my fingers, and so I would complain a lot about it. And also, apparently, in the lessons, I would go to the piano and not really look at the cello. So he got me piano lessons when I was like 5. Um, and the first song I actually ever learned on piano was Linus and Lucy, which is the
Nice.
theme song from Charlie Brown, Vince Guaraldi,
Great.
straight up jazz. And I had no idea what jazz was then, but I just felt this like deep connection to it and it made me feel great. So I feel like I've always kind of been on the side of jazz since I started playing piano. Um, and I had a few teachers. And then when I got to high school, I had a classical teacher and a jazz teacher separately, and I got to study for a year with Fred Hirsch,
Oh,
which really lit a fire under me and kind of put me in a mindset like, okay, I think this is what I really want to do, and I want to prove to myself and prove to him and prove to other people that I can do this. Um, and then I went to William Patterson for undergrad. I got to study with people like Harold Mayburn and Bill Charlap there. and I also took a year off in between school, in between my undergrad and master's, and really started playing in the city. I should have mentioned, I'm from Teaneck, New Jersey.
I thought you
Um,
were from the tri-state new area.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I've been here kind of my whole life, and my dad has been very heavily involved in the music scene and Broadway scene. So I got kind of integrated in that through him. Um, and yeah, and went to Juilliard and met this wonderful person,
Oh.
and yeah, here we are now.
So now, Julia, I know you're finishing up your master's.
Yeah.
Caelan, have you already done that, or are you in the
Yeah,
same?
yeah, I'm done.
Okay.
I am finito
All right. Nice.
as
Nice.
of last year. Yeah.
Quick. This is. I'm getting to this question earlier than I wanted to, but so what was the impetus for going back and getting a master's in this world, which is so performance sometimes blinding, right? There, you know, not to ditch Berkeley, but there's a lot of people that go to Berkeley for like a year and a half and decide I got to get out and just start playing. And so, most people don't even graduate from Berkeley, right? Because the bug to get out and perform, gets them a little too early. But obviously, to go back and get a master's, was it just that you thought it was really going to help you sort of on the road, that it was going to allow you to do other things and teach? What was the reason to go back and get it? Because it wasn't just to spend a lot more money, right?
Well, for me, I actually was not planning to get a master's. After I graduated from Nepal, I was like, I am done with school. There's no way anyone's going to get me back into an institution. There's just no way. And like a little bit into my like freelancing year, someone from the school actually reached out to me off of a video that I posted. And I actually remember the exact video. It was like I wrote a vocalese over a Nat Adderley solo. And I was just like trying to throw exercises my way, and then I'd post them, whatever. And he reached out and he was like, we think you should apply for a Juilliard jazz master's degree. And I was like, master's degree? Like, I don't know. And I looked into it and I reached out, and then I was visiting New York a lot already, and I visited and sat in on some classes, and I was like, oh my God, like, I think I actually want to do this. My mind kind of just changed when I went. Um, there's always so much to learn, and like having the possibility of such an amazing resource was like so tempting. So that's when I decided to
Well,
apply
and it's
for
nice to be, the story of it. It sounds like you were, again, recruited, like an athlete was, right? I mean, it's
it.
nice to get the call saying, "Hey, you should do this."
Yeah, oh my God. Had I not seen that message, I would have not even been probably in New York at this time either. Things were going pretty well in Chicago for me. I was in a bunch of circuits and
There's
doing,
Dr. Flag.
yeah, seriously. So I am very grateful that that happened. And yeah, I wouldn't change it for anything.
Great, great. And
Um,
Kayla, I mean, same thing. I mean, just really.
kind of same thing. I actually, so she kind of got not lucky. She just, um, you got in, you got in your first time, or your first try applying. I actually got in the second time. So I applied for Juilliard going into undergrad out of high school and
Got it.
got waitlisted, which was actually the best thing that could have happened to me because I wanted to go for all the wrong reasons. Um, and then out of college, I applied again because I was like, okay, I've just finished undergrad. Like, I'm gonna go for. I want to get the master's degree and get it done. And I got waitlisted, and that also ended up working out because I was doing this other thing at the time that took up a lot of my life as a piano competition. So then I applied a second time just because all the materials were the same and I had everything ready to go, and I was like, okay, might as well. And so that's when I got it. Um, and I sometimes I still ask myself that question, is like why did I want to get a master's degree? And put myself through 2 more years of school. But I mean, ultimately, you can have the conversation about whether in our line of work it's pertinent to have a degree, right? Because most of the people that and the legends that we look up to never even went to school.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
but especially, but today, if we want, like, I know that down the road I want to teach, hopefully on a university or conservatory level. So having those degrees would definitely help there. Um, so
Yeah.
that was kind of the impetus. And also I just wanted to surround myself with that community from Juilliard because I knew a lot of people who went through the program and I know a lot of people who are currently there and I just wanted to be around that energy. And I'm very glad that I did that.
Yeah.
That's great. So through your schooling or just through listening and playing, what are sort of the what infuses your music? What are the sort of the the inspirations or the influences that you've had that sort of at least to this point, again, careers are really very young, but what are the things that you like listening to, that you like thinking about, that sort of makes your current musical profile the way it is?
Sure. Okay. I think lately, well, I'll start. Growing up, most, if not all, my influence were listening. Were people like even in the beginning. I grew up. Forgot to mention this before, but I grew up in a house with music all the time. A lot of classical music, but also a lot of Motown, a lot of rock and roll, a lot of um, just alternate genres of music. My dad really loves like all kinds of music, and my mom too. She's from France, and so she brought a lot of her favorite music up. Um, so I was gravitating towards like Michael Jackson and Stevie Wonder, and a lot of Ray Charles
Mm,
and the blues. And so that I feel really heavily influenced me in how I feel about music and how I react to music. And then as I got older and started playing more piano, I started diving into actual jazz artists like Train and Miles Davis and Bud Powell and Charlie Parker. The reason I play piano is really Oscar Peterson,
hmm,
because I heard a recording of him playing a tune one time, and I was just like, what is that? How does he doing that?
Mm.
I want to do that. Um, but now, especially in the last few years, being in school and living in the city, um, I think honestly, my biggest source of inspiration is going out and seeing people my age perform and or in my generation
yeah.
and hearing their compositions and hearing their styles and how they're playing. Um, because these are people I'm growing up with. These are my
Yeah.
peers. So
Yeah, I mean, I think
and I feel lucky to be inspired by them.
I mean, that's a great answer. And again, I have not been, you know, I have not had my finger on the pulse of the jazz scene for a long, long time, but I've got to imagine that this has got to be one of the most prolific sort of periods of young artists who are either in school or, I mean, just it seems like there's so many good players out there now and singers. And it's just it's a really good time to be, in the city, hanging, you know, jamming or whatever.
Definitely.
To Julia, on your side of influences?
Yeah, I mean, similar to Kaylin, I mostly was growing up, like I said, in a classical household. My mom, and her mom, they're from Moscow,
Mm,
and were concert pianists growing up, and my dad also is a huge fan of classical music and also grew up playing piano. So we have a lot of I can't play piano for whatever reason. I didn't get that bug. I should have. um, but yeah, that was just always happening. And my mom, we were lucky enough. She just loves. She would love to take me to the opera, to the CSO, and so I was super lucky to get to do that as a kid and growing up, and I love doing that. I'm so glad I have those experiences. And yeah, it wasn't until really high school when I started, you know, learning about new music. Like I got into musical theater and was in like Grease and
You did Grease too?
Footloose,
Oh my
and
God.
yeah,
How was it? Wait, you were acting or
it was just like in the
in the
yeah.
pit?
No, 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 no. In the
chorus?
Oh, the
Yeah, and
chorus.
the
Oh yeah.
chorus and like had like they always gave me singing
Beautiful.
like roles. Like I can't act for the life. I can't dance, I can't act. But they gave me like singing roles specifically. Always put the mic on me and I was like, that's the one thing I got you with. Like I can do that. Um I was in the pit for Adam's Family. That was really fun. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Um And yeah, so then I started learning more standards and I started listening to Ella Fitzgerald, Carmen McRae, Sarah Vaughan, Blossom Dearie. It wasn't really until college when I like learned about Betty Carter and like all
Mm,
these other vocalists out there, Dakota Staton, Ernestine Anderson, Gloria Lynn. Like there's so many vast vocalists, and I just like grasped onto everyone's like differences in phrasing and storytelling, and I just like fell so deeply in love with them and the music that they were singing. And then I started to transcribe, and I fell in love with Lee Morgan and like Sonny Stitt and Sonny Rollins, and Cannonball Adderley. Like there's just there's so much music out there, and
yeah.
it's
Well,
overwhelming sometimes.
well, I was gonna say that's a pretty comprehensive list already, and you've barely scratched the surface, right?
Right,
And that's
exactly.
what's um. So anyway, so that's great. You guys are coming to Western Mass. You're gonna play as a duo, which is wonderful. Is that just talk a little bit about playing in duo, piano and voice? Is that a particular challenge? Is that a particular delight? What does that mean for you versus when you're, backed by, a full rhythm section or, or more?
I mean, I think the duo setting and trio setting are very, very, very different. Or quartet rather.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like when I play with Caelan specifically, like I don't know. I feel like when I'm in a duo setting, it can go one of two ways. Sometimes it's like, okay, we're just gonna play like what the tune is, we're just gonna play it down, and that's like what it is, and it's cool. Um, I feel like though with Caelan specifically, and I'm not trying to like
Oh boy.
I'm not trying, whatever. But I feel like he's just so like creative, and like the arranging that you do on the spot, like I feel like we have like played some tunes together, and then like it's like not really the tune at all. It's like the tune, it's like the foundation of it, of course, and then he like takes me into a different direction or pushes my ear or like really orchestrates something really beautiful, and like that is like the biggest difference, but like even in like a trio setting with him, it's like he's gonna guide that, he's like the orchestrator, and I feel like that's like a really big difference that I feel when I'm playing with anyone else personally. But yeah, of course there's so many things in both settings that are wonderful. But
Yeah,
yeah,
nice.
whatever you think.
It's pretty much what she said. It's really just about trust and um, freedom. When I when we're playing duo, it's like I'm not confined to a rhythmic barrier or a harmonic barrier with the drums or bass. Like I can really just take my time and listen to her and trust where she's taking the melody and where what she's doing. And obviously, I have to, as the pianist, know the tune almost better than her, so that I can like help reinforce if it goes off somewhere or if we
Hmm.
decide to be more creative in the moment.
Yeah.
Um, but I sometimes I like playing trio just for the fact of not having to deal with that
Right,
because
right.
it's like okay, now I could just kind of
It's there.
go on autopilot a
Yeah.
little bit and we'll still have a great time, um but no, playing duo is so beautiful because it really forces you out of your comfort zone
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
forces you to really listen and yeah, and like I said, trust.
There's so much
Oh,
freedom that can happen, and I think that's the beauty of it. It's like, how can you get there? in something like such an intimate space, you know.
Well, we will be excited to see what you guys do with that opportunity with that opportunity, and hopefully it's not too much work. And any thoughts? I don't know if you guys have done this regularly or just occasionally. I mean, any thoughts on the difference between 150 people in a in a jazz venue and 30 people staring you in the face from 10 feet away in a house?
Yeah. I mean, like, for me, when there's more people, I don't get very nervous. It's actually the more like intimate spaces. Like, yeah, something about, I don't know, it's just something about having people that you probably know and people that came out for a very specific reason. Almost feels like maybe um a little more pressure, but once the first tune happens, that all of that just kind of disappears in either setting. We just kind of play.
Well, we're not a very intimidating group, um, and but but we're appreciative, and yeah, it should be not be difficult.
Yeah.
No,
Um,
it'll be great.
Great. Um, well, yeah. So I mean, we're really looking forward. Oh, you know what? I want to ask one other question. Right now, you still are billed, Julia, as a Chicago and New York City based artist. Now, is that simply because while you're going to school, you still feel like Chicago is home, or are you really going to try to sort of be dual based, bi city based, or have you not decided where you're going to base
Yeah.
yourself out of?
I mean, I know I'm staying here once I graduate. I'm happy to just stay in New York, live in New York. I just like have always wanted to live here, and I just can foresee that for myself. I just can't really see anything else for myself right now other
Yeah.
than being here. Um, and I think the reason I say that is because when I first moved here, I was flying home almost like every weekend. Like, I don't know if you remember.
I remember.
Yeah, I was flying home a lot because I still had a lot of work back home, and I wanted to make it work because I didn't want to like, give up on that community. I know it's not like that, but I just didn't want to let go of those connections because it's so important to me. Um,
Right.
and I make sure to still reach out and be like, hey, like I'm coming home, this week, and like would love to, if you have anything, I'm here, or would love to see you. Just I try to keep that line open because I think that's so important. That's like where I started. I don't want to just.
No, 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 absolutely don't. I mean, don't burn any bridges. And it's nice to have another, major, city where you've got an inbred reputation, right? I mean, it's nice
Yeah,
to,
definitely.
not everybody has that. So that's great. Well,
Yep.
anyway, we are thrilled that you are coming. Feel better.
Thank you. Sorry.
But yeah, so Saturday, May 30th, 7 p.m. Uh, that's when we hit it here. And in addition, obviously, to the live audience in the house, it will be live streamed as far as the audience will allow. So we look forward to that as well.
Great.
Anyway, guys, have a great end to school. Um, Keep doing well, and we will see you very soon.
Thank you, John.
Thanks,
See you
John.
soon. Can't
See you
wait.
guys.
Thanks for having
Can't
us.
wait.